Hey guys, Chris here. I want to do a video today talking about how to stop relapsing, what leads to a relapse. I want to give you a couple of examples from myself on this journey of going a long amount of time, 5 months, then 6 months, and then what allowed me to fall back before bouncing back stronger and doing 10 months recently. Because I've seen some of the comments on the videos as well, and this is a challenge, and you go such a long distance, then you can fall back into bad habits, and you've got to where you've got to, which is, say, your longest streak, say if it's 2 months, and there's something that's stopping you going further than 2 months. And I wanted to share some examples from me, and I think the main focus areas are on the thoughts and dealing with your thoughts and the fantasies that are coming up, particularly if it's from porn. And then also flat lines where the energy is just quite low and you feel quite bored. There's a bit of sexual expression that you might feel wants to get out, a bit of creativity. But this can be what flat lines are as well. Flat line is just sometimes just being okay and not doing anything, and it can be difficult. And then obviously dealing with difficult emotions as well, particularly say with women, rejection from women, or a woman who's maybe triggered you. These sort of things, which at least for me led to relapsing. And it's how you deal with these emotions. These emotions will make you stronger. And once you get to that point, which is maybe the furthest you've gone, you will notice that you feel the energy maybe feels a lot more intense because you're not used to having this amount of energy inside you. And being kind to yourself as well, because most people are escaping, most people are running away, and semen retention is a great practice because it, as I've shared in other videos, is allowing you to strip so many things out of your life that are not serving you, and relationships and all of these sort of things, and you really grow. So it could be like one of the best practices you can do. And most people are smoking, they're drinking, they're running away, they're doing drugs. They don't want to face themselves, and this is part of their healing journey, at least for people who are self-aware that they want to stop this habit. So I'm hoping that this video can help you. And the first point I was going to mention, with depending on how long you've gone, let's say you've gone 1 or 2 months, you've gone through the challenges to get that far, and there's going to be the next thing. So it's about being self-aware, about being aware of, okay, what's allowed me to get to 2 months. Let me write down where the hiccups were. So when I went to 5 months, and I ended up hitting a bit of a flat line, and flat line, then what happens is you start to think a lot more, maybe sexual thoughts coming in your head, fantasies, and then it can be for quite a different period of time. Maybe it's a few days or a week, and you just feel like it's not going to improve. Okay, I'm in this flat line, I just feel like I want to express. And then what that led to me doing the first time round after about 5 months is, I did it, and then I immediately regretted going back watching porn, because I kind of thought like, the benefit, I've just got used to the benefits. And like this point you get to your best, most charismatic self, and obviously you're hitting a bit of a flat line, but when you lose this kind of life force energy that's inside you, you can feel it straight away. You can feel weak in the legs. You don't quite feel the same. Me, I was at that particular time maybe was quite abundant, like things were flowing to me. Obviously before the flat line, things were good. I was happy in the present moment, I was happier. And then once I'd lost it, it was like, I'm trying to build this back up again. And that can be the difficulty, as it is then like the clock. And that's why I think people count the days, because they want to get back to that point where they were. And at that particular time, I think things were happening in my life as well. So the flat line in particular can sometimes be pointing something out to you. I think at the time there was like a narcissistic person I was living with, I just moved in with. So I think things like this can lead to that kind of relapse, this kind of something is not quite feeling right. Your mood is being aware of what's going on with your mood, what's in your body. Are you feeling pain in your shoulder or something? Then that's why it's good to be very self-aware. And I think maybe if I stuck with it longer, I would have probably maybe even noticed that. But when you relapse, and you maybe just forget what's actually happening in your life. So that was the first time round. So those thoughts are becoming a lot more intense, and what you want to do is just become very present and say like, okay, I'm present now. I'm aware of my breathing, there's this thought in my head, and then while you're present, it should evolve. Normally when you're unconscious and you're just playing something on the loop, and you're not conscious, that's when it just keeps playing in your mind, and that's when it becomes more intense. So the second the thought or the image comes up, if you can be aware, it will break down quicker. And then if the feeling comes up and it's intense, sit with the feeling. So what happened after this relapse for me is that I went on some 7 months of up and down, maybe going 1 month, 2 months. So it's important to be able to quickly get back to self-reflecting. Why did I do it, and why do I want to go on a longer streak? And I think the pain one as well with women and rejection was still getting me, because in that 5 months I don't think that had hit me. And then after this pain, after it as well, it did hit me, and then it led to a relapse again. So these are weak points in me, and it's knowing how you're going to deal with that in the future, because you could go a year and not get a rejection, right? You probably will be stronger in the mindset, but you never know where the loopholes are. So that's why it's important to be kind to yourself, and as much as you can be self-aware and you have a strong why, I feel you can keep going. And the longer you go, the better you feel, and you know what's at stake, which is what I remember. So the second time round, when I went to 6 months, what happened was I made myself accountable to someone. There was someone I was following on YouTube, and I told them, and then I went on a long streak, and I thought, this time is different. I'm definitely not going to do it this time. And I hit 6 months. I did a YouTube video, I remember. And then I was stuck in this place where I just moved to, and I felt this real sort of loneliness, this feeling a bit left out, maybe seeing beautiful women and not feeling worthy of getting them, and it triggered these kind of wounds. And then I went back, and I didn't really want to sit with them. I was kind of escaping. Then the next day, I kind of felt a bit on that flat line as well at this time. So that's when you can be quite sensitive, and also to notice that the flat line is not necessarily just this is semen retention, or this is just coming off the porn. It could be anything. It could be you've removed your relationship, you've cut caffeine out your diet, you've removed social media as much. All these things can lead to that flat line, that your dopamine is just resetting. So anyway, these difficult emotions I was feeling with feeling left out was essentially what led to the relapse the next day. Looking at Instagram model, then going, okay, I'm just going to look at porn. I'm watching the video, and of course that's not it sounds stupid now, but then that's essentially what then led to the relapse. And I remember just feeling straight away like, oh my god, I've done this thing again. And then for the next 2 weeks I was just feeling really weak. Physically I was doing Muay Thai out in Thailand, and I remember just going there and I felt like a lot weaker than I was before, so noticeably a lot more in my mind, negative thoughts, the guilt, the shame. So I feel this is a good point, this is what's at stake when you relapse. You're bringing in these kind of negative thought forms, the guilt. Yeah, you get pleasure and you're escaping whatever pain you're feeling at the time, but you're bringing in something maybe that's going to be a lot worse because the consequences, and also giving away your life energy, which is the big lesson, that is all coming out of you, and then you have to rebuild it all up again. So that time was quite a painful time, and regretting instantly, and pushing down the feelings. If you just feel the feelings that you're going to be feeling around women, whatever it is, it will make you stronger. It has important data that's telling you. So that particular time when I was lonely, I didn't feel like I fitted in. It was like this spiritual community in Copenhagen in Thailand, and I was just like, I don't fit in here. But then ultimately feeling with those feelings, and then it was actually teaching me something maybe more valuable. I think it was teaching me something more valuable of just like, I'm not here to fit in, I'm here to create my own community, my own tribe. That's what I later discovered. But at the time you're just like in the pain, and if you sit through it and come out of it, you learn the lessons much quicker. And if you just sat with the feelings, like people do ayahuasca, they do breath work, they do all of this stuff, but there's so many things that are facing us day to day. We just have to sit with the feelings. We're not escaping, and then sitting with the feelings. The growth is amazing. When you put in it's not necessarily that you're not growing because you've, say, watched porn. It's just that you've given your energy away, and you've brought in all this guilt and shame, and then you're back to this objectifying of women and all of this stuff, and you think the thoughts and the fantasies are going to go, but they don't. They only get worse. Like, they intensify more. Once you start watching porn again, for example, you will want to keep watching it. Once you start releasing, you want to release again, because you've got to this high and you want to get back to that high, because the orgasm is like the ultimate high. And where I see this kind of semen retention journey is like, you're not quite there, but you're like, maybe you're getting to like here, but you're not you're not going, which they say is like in tantra and tantric sex, is like you're not quite going to the top, you're like getting here, because if you go to the very top, it comes at a cost, and you're giving everything away. And if you really understand what is in your semen and the vitamins and everything that's going through your body to create this, to create life, is something not to reckon with, at least not with someone who's not the right partner. And someone on Instagram, someone, a porn star, is not the right person to give your energy to, and then also just some random hookup as well. If this is you, if you relapsed and it was with someone you really cared about, we probably won't be really watching this video. You'd be like, well, I was with someone that I loved, so it's a bit different. I think if you're watching this video, it's like it's not quite that. So those difficult feelings, then after that I was able to go 10 months, and it was about 2 weeks of, after those 6 months, relapse in 2 weeks. Then I quickly got straight back onto it, because I'd retouched my why. And I think when I connected with this person and I went on a longer streak, then I sort of messaged him, and he was like, you'll come back stronger. And that was just what I needed. Then it was to go further this time, and that time I went further, and I've gone further, and I think it's made me stronger. So I think when people can be a bit too hard on themselves as well, and they say, oh, I've relapsed and blah blah blah, I've given my energy, that's kind of how I'm talking. But just one thing to notice as well is that you can never really lose yourself. And like, if someone came to me now and injected me and took all my semen away, it's like, it doesn't mean that I'm not the same person. It doesn't mean that I've lost, I am the sort of the conscious awareness behind what is it observing, and that's the deeper lesson to learn, like who you really are. The charismatic person that walks into the cafe and then releases and then walks in a different person, you're still who you are, observing that. You're not completely losing yourself, and there's probably a greater purpose behind that. But if you're being present, and there's always good in everything, so that's how life is. So that's, I guess, a message I wanted to leave if people are beating themselves up. But the emotions, I think, are important to feel, and if you can sit through the thoughts, the difficult emotions, like this time in the last 10 months, I've been through a lot of real painful heartbreak, which has been a long time to get past for me, and some other things, some other challenges, some other difficulties, and I wouldn't give up for 1 minute, because I know, like, at the moment I'm traveling around, I'm sort of living my best life, but I know that I was relapsing a lot more over this last couple of years. If I was doing that more, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I think normally when I was relapsing a lot, I was kind of quite stuck in life. Then I think abundance is coming into your life, and as long as if you do relapse, then you just quickly get back and you just say that was just a mistake. Okay, and then just really sit down for a couple of weeks, write down why you did it, what you're struggling with, how you can do better next time, and it will improve. Things will get better. So yeah, I hope you found that useful, and in terms of what's going to stop you relapsing. And if you've got any other questions, drop it below. It's an interesting video I was going to do. I just thought I'd share those couple of stories, because what gets you from 2 months to 5 months to 6 months to 10 months, but you just have to keep going, and becoming aware of the thoughts, the negative thoughts, the sexual thoughts. Don't entertain them. The more you can bring light in, presence, then I think the thoughts dissolve quicker, and you get more on path, and things drop off out of your life, and you enjoy just being in the present moment. That's what life is about. and you know, that's part of the journey. And semen retention and this relapse journey can get you there. It can get you on amazing good habits, off really bad habits, and it's a life-changing experience. So stay strong, and I hope you enjoyed this video.